Hello, today I'm going over photosynthesis and cell respiration overview. So this is just a very brief description of both of those processes, what goes in and what comes out. So hopefully this is a little review. What I've got in this first image is we've got a plant, and then we zoom in on the plants and some of the cells of the plant. And then within each cell, there's certain organelles that we're going to look at. So we get smaller, smaller, smaller. Oxygen is produced in the cells of plants during photosynthesis. This process happens in a plant cell in a special organelle called the chloroplast. We see the chloroplast right here. This is the oxygen that living things need to survive. So oxygen is made in the plants, specifically in the chloroplast. The oxygen is a byproduct, but all living things, well, almost all living things are going to need that oxygen in order to live, and we'll talk about that soon. All right, next up, the chloroplast. One half of photosynthesis is light dependent. That's what we see right here. This part is light dependent. Light is required to convert water into oxygen gas. So this is where the oxygen in our atmosphere comes from. It comes from this process. Light goes into this chloroplast, and some water is converted into oxygen gas that is then expelled from the plant. This part of photosynthesis does not happen during the nighttime. It only happens during the day when you have light, or if you had like grow lights for plants in a house or something. Okay, let's continue. The second half of the process is the Calvin cycle. Does not require light. So this can happen during the day and at night, both. During this phase of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide from the air, we see carbon dioxide coming in, is converted into sugars or food for the plant. So during the Calvin cycle, the CO2 is rearranged and the plant can make sugars. This is the basis of our food chain, right? Plants making sugars or food that could then be eaten by other creatures. Okay, so that was photosynthesis. Now let's look at cell respiration. Within both plant and animal cells are specialized organelles called mitochondria that allow for cell respiration. This process allows organisms to get energy out of the foods they eat. So mitochondria, we're going to find this in plant and animal cells because we forget sometimes plant cells also need to eat and harvest energy. And they're going to take these sugars from photosynthesis and put them through mitochondria to extract energy, just like humans are doing. We're eating things and using mitochondria to extract energy. Okay. The first half of this process is called the citric acid cycle. Food goes in, we don't see it, but food would come in here into this process. And carbon dioxide, which we do see here, is produced as a byproduct, and ATP is made into a high energy molecule. So CO2 is just kind of a waste product. We breathe that out. The ATP is what we're going to use, though, for actual movement in our body and energy. So the food came in, the energy from the food basically got put into the ATP. The second half of cell respiration is called electron transport. Oxygen gas, which we see here, is used during this stage to make a lot of ATP for the organism. Remember, we need ATP to do any kind of movement or activity. So we're using this oxygen gas in this process to allow for ATP to be made. Without oxygen gas, this whole process comes to a quick stop. So remember, if you're not breathing in oxygen gas, you know we don't live very long without oxygen. A few minutes, right? if that happens, if we don't get the oxygen to gas, this process stops and very quickly our cells die without the ATP for energy. All right, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.